Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge everyone at the podium with me, starting with Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder, from my office, Special Operations Bureau Chief Ed Friedenthal and Lee Genzer. We have David Candelaria from the State Police, Richard Gutierrez from the Postal Inspectors. I'd like to acknowledge Suffolk Sheriff Errol Toulon, but he's not here with us, Nassau Sheriff Vera Flood, Rockville Center James Vafidis. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the Suffolk County Police Department, Rockville Center Police Department, Freeport and Hempstead Police Departments, and the Orange County, California Regional Narcotics Suppression Program. We're here this morning to announce the results of a major multi-agency drug trafficking investigation, which resulted in the arrest of 14 individuals, the seizure of more than 50,000 doses of heroin, 192 grams of cocaine, 22 pounds of marijuana, $220,000 in cash, and an illegal weapon. This investigation initially began in March 2018 into a reputed mid-level dealer named Daryl Boyd, who worked with his nephew, James Costa. These defendants allegedly sold both heroin and cocaine throughout Nassau County directly, as well as through a network of smaller drug dealers. The investigation then expanded to include a total of 14 defendants, including one alleged dealer who is charged with operating as a major trafficker. Currently, 11 of those defendants have been arrested and 3 have yet to be arrested. There is one fatal overdose, a 62-year-old man who died in November in Freeport, allegedly connected to heroin that was distributed by this ring. This was an unusually brazen group of defendants and drug dealers. We allege that defendant Daryl Boyd, also known by his nickname Fab, sold heroin on a near daily basis from his home in Freeport. He also told customers to visit him at his job at the Cerebral Palsy Center of Nassau County in Roosevelt. He was incredibly open with his drug dealing, and in one intercepted conversation, he instructed a customer to come visit him in the back of the Cerebral Palsy Center to purchase narcotics. Boyd was also charged with 7 counts of criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree, conspiracy in the 2nd degree, and other charges. He faces up to 12.5 years to 25 if convicted. As the investigation unfolded, we worked diligently with our police partners in the FBI Gang Task Force to identify the traffickers who were supplying Mr. Boyd. Investigators found that Boyd was allegedly selling drugs on consignment and was constantly struggling to pay off his debt to several high-ranking defendants. These suppliers included Tony Mclamb, Kenta Powell, Leonard Forbes, and Christopher Thomas. At one point during this investigation, Mr. Thomas was struck by a vehicle and injured, but those injuries did not prevent him from continuing to sell drugs. Investigators saw Thomas leaving his home using a walker to meet with potential customers and sell his drugs. During one traffic stop, approximately 10 grams, enough for 330 doses, of heroin was recovered from a man we allege had just purchased from Christopher Thomas. Thomas is charged with criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree and other related charges. If he is found to be a persistent offender by a judge, he faces 25 years to life in prison. Defendant Kenta Powell allegedly taught his girlfriend, Veronica Bethea, the technique to measure quantities of crack cocaine and how to sell to customers. In one intercepted message, Bethea allegedly sent a picture of crack cocaine on a digital scale to Powell to make sure she was weighing it correctly, which it turns out she was not. The biggest alleged supplier associated with this investigation is Tony Mclamb. We charge that Mclamb collaborated with suppliers in California to obtain large supplies of narcotics, including cocaine. Working with our investigators, officers from the Orange County, California Regional Narcotics Suppression Program seized 3 kilograms of cocaine, which Mclamb arranged to have transported to Nassau County. That cocaine has an approximate street value of $300,000. In one notable incident, a search warrant was executed on a priority mail parcel that Mclamb allegedly sent to a P.O. box in California. The parcel contained a manila envelope inside a larger U.S. Postal Service envelope. Inside that manila envelope was approximately $9,000 in cash, a suspected payment for narcotics. Interestingly, the inner manila envelope was addressed to a senior prosecutor in my office. We suspect that Mclamb was under the misimpression that legal mail is subject to legal privilege and cannot be opened if seized by law enforcement. He was wrong. In February, a search warrant was executed at Mclamb's residence in Roosevelt, where approximately 1,200 grams of heroin and 19 pounds of marijuana were recovered. Part of that heroin was found in a large homemade candle. Now, 1,200 grams of raw heroin is equivalent to approximately 40,000 individual doses of heroin. The street value of a bundle of heroin, which is 10 doses, is approximately $75 to $100, which means that the uncut heroin seized here from Mclamb's home would be worth between $300,000 and $400,000. If the product was cut with additives, as it usually is, the street value would rise to more than $500,000. Mclamb was charged with operating as a major trafficker, criminal possession of a controlled substance in the first degree, conspiracy, and a host of other drug-related charges. He faces a potential maximum of 25 years to life incarceration. This investigation is very much ongoing, as is our multi-front assault on the opioid epidemic in Nassau County. We continue to dedicate unprecedented law enforcement resources to identify and take down drug dealers, as we work simultaneously to educate our community about the dangers of opioid abuse and to ensure that those in the grip of addiction have the resources they need. I can't say it enough. There are resources available to help those suffering with addiction, and I encourage anyone who may need assistance or know someone who needs assistance to reach out to the Mary Haven Center of Hope at 516-546-7070 for help and treatment resources 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With that, I'd like to now turn it over to Commissioner Ryder.
Thank you. I'm going to be brief. First, I want to start off by thanking the District Attorney's Office. The Nassau County Police Department has never had a better relationship and cooperation as it has in the past with the Nassau County District Attorney's Office. We work side by side, step by step, making sure that we go after these drug dealers. Look behind here, you got the FBI, you got Suffolk and Nassau sheriffs, you got our villages that are all working together hand in hand. This is how we roll in Nassau County. You come into our county, you're going to deal drugs, we're going to come after you. Whether it's a short investigation, long, no matter if it's in our backyard or we got to go to places like California. Again, I want to thank the District Attorney's Office for the great work that her whole team has done to get us to where we are today, and there's more to come. Thank you.
Okay, I neglected to mention from the FBI, Michael Lewis and Stephen Byrne, who we could not have conducted this operation without, and these are valued partnerships. And as the Commissioner has said, we are collaborating with the goal to eradicate our heroin crisis here in Nassau County, and we will continue to do that. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Can you tell us what the approximate street value of the drugs seized was overall?
Yeah, so the heroin overall, I mean, the heroin taken from Mclamb's house was about $300,000 to $400,000. The cocaine.
Cocaine's probably another 119,000 or so that was seized here in Nassau County.
So the cocaine was another $19,000 that was seized here in Nassau County.
Plus the 3 kilos that were
Right,
recovered in
plus the
California,
3 kilos that were recovered in California.
which are about 300.
About 300?
Right.
Total 300,000
For the cocaine.
For the cocaine.
How disturbing is it about the cerebral palsy that, he was selling the drugs Was it when it's during, when it was open? Was
Yeah.
it inside? Was it back?
Again, look, heroin, as we all know, has reached into every crevice of our community. So in legitimate workplaces, and it is disturbing because people going into an agency like that, looking for drugs, sort of indicates how commonplace and routine it is for people, using heroin at that levels, that they're brazen enough to sell out of a place like cerebral palsy. So. Cerebral palsy itself was not aware, the organization was not aware of it, so we're not casting blame on it. But again, it just shows how widespread this is.
And it was during operational times, like during the daytimes?
Yeah.
Or was it
Yes. Yes. Okay.
One more question, any charges linked specifically to the overdose of the 60?
Investigating pending toxicology.
Yeah, right. We have to wait for toxicology, which takes a little time. So pending that, if we can connect it decisively through the toxicology, there will be charges.
You have money, dollar amounts for Mclamb. For Boyd, was there also, you said that is that the number of 50,000 packs of heroin part of what you got from Mclamb?
Is that Mclamb?
Is that-
Yeah, that's Mclamb.
So you're looking at almost street value potentially of, it looks like $700,000-800,000 for drugs, or is that on the low end?
That's probably on the.
Including marijuana, that you didn't even put a price tag on.
Yeah,
it.
marijuana
Yeah.
alone's another 20,000.
Right.
Yeah, we think the marijuana is another $20,000. And again, depending on how much additive, the stuff seized is pure. So depending on how much additive, it can go a lot longer. So yeah, those are all minimums that we're giving you, minimum amounts of money. So
Who was selling on consignment? Is it on consignment?
yeah, Boyd,
Boyd
Fab.
is selling, so he's constantly behind. is what you're
Yeah, he's constantly behind. He's almost running like a drug Ponzi scheme.
Can you tell us more about Mclamb? I mean, obviously, your office just put out a release a short time ago. He was convicted in another case. And you're saying he wrote one of your prosecutor's names on an envelope? Drug money, did he know of that person from his first prosecution?
Again, I'm not going to comment on prior prosecutions. We're going to talk about this case. Clearly, he knew the name of a senior prosecutor in my office, and presumably he thought by putting that name on his mail, the mail wouldn't be opened. Mclamb is a major player in the narcotics arena in Nassau County, and hopefully these charges will put an end to that. Thank you.